Hello everybody, I am Josh. I was a computer science examiner for a really long period of time. I was a head of computer science in UK schools. Now I run a tutoring business and I've helped thousands of students to get their grades better in computer science, all kinds of different courses. We're going to be focusing on the GCSE computer science, and this is relevant to all specifications, and we're particularly looking at networks and the internet today. This series is all to do with giving you as little as possible to remember and still being able to get those top grades. I use my experience as an examiner to give you all of the potential questions and answers that could come up on each spec point. So all you have to do, write the questions down, write the answers down, go over them in flashcards, and that's going to be a nice, easy way to boost your grade. We're going to be particularly focusing on cloud storage, wider wireless networks, and also computer networks and the advantages and disadvantages of these. So the first thing is describe what a computer network is. Two or more computers connected to each other. It should also be noted that a standalone computer is a computer that isn't connected to any other devices. The next question is advantages and disadvantages of a computer network. So it's easier to communicate with people, share files and resources more easily, like you can just share one printer between lots of you. The bad things though is it can be expensive to set up because of the extra network hardware, and generally you do make yourself more open to cybersecurity threats. The factors which can affect the performance of the network is the amount of devices on a network. The more, generally that's going to make the performance decrease. And bandwidth is the amount of data that you can send per second, so that if that's more, then the performance of the network is going to be better. This one says, describe how computer networks can be connected. Generally, there's two main ways. So you've got wired connections, such as Ethernet, and wireless connections, which is Wi-Fi. The next sort of questions that could come up is getting you to compare wired connections and wireless connections. So it's about knowing the advantages and disadvantages of these. So wired connections, higher internet speeds, and less interference from walls and electrical problems. The issue is that you're more likely to trip over wires and higher cost due to their, having to actually get those wires. The advantages and disadvantages of wireless are generally just the inverse of these. People can move around with devices much more easily, so the portability is a big factor of being an advantage. Less expensive, as you don't have to buy cables to connect devices. Not as fast as wired connections though, and more likely to be affected by interference by walls and electrical problems. Going on to cloud computing. So what it is storage, services and computation accessed through an internet connection to a remote server. This is something like Office 365, and some of the Google software is cloud computing. They then may ask you to do advantages and disadvantages of cloud computing. So it's easier to collaborate on tasks with your colleagues, can access files from anywhere as long as you've got an internet connection. What the main disadvantages though is that you do need a good solid internet connection. Either you won't be able to access whatever it is that you're trying to get on with your cloud computing. Trusting third-party company with your security. So you are trusting that Microsoft and these big companies are going to be doing their due diligence with trying to make sure that your data is safe. So you aren't in control of that, and sometimes that could be a disadvantage. The final ones is just looking at the LAN, the WAN, and the PAN. The PAN is only for the AQA spec, so if you are on Cambridge International or OCR, you do not need to write that last point down. So the first two, a LAN, a local area network in a small geographical area over one site, such as a school or a house. The network hardware is owned by the site owner. So that's kind of a second point which people always forget, and they don't get that second mark unless they talk about the network hardware being owned by someone. WAN is a wide area network, and it's over a large geographical area. Network hardware is normally owned by telecommunication companies, and the largest example of a WAN is the internet. The PAN, as I said, only for the AQA spec, is a personal area network, and it's to do with the individual. So these can be devices that are connected through Bluetooth, such as smartwatches, speakers, headphones, the list goes on.